So, hello guys. I'm so conscious right now, I promise. So, today we're unboxing to take a line from Ara Vertusio. We're unboxing my tackle box. So, after this, there will be a quiz that you need to answer regarding the video that I'm taking right now. Okay, so let's start. So, you see, here's my box. I had it since I was in second year proper for my surgery class. Let's get ahead with it. So what do I have in my box? I have rags. This is a super absorbent chamois or chamois. So I like to clean my space whenever I do work. And another rag. This one is actually a gauze, but I use it as a towel to dry off instruments after washing with povidone. This is povidone scrub. I use the old povidone solution container for it because it's very handy and small. Then I have different kinds of pens. I have broad marker for marking specimen bottles. This is very important. It's a wet surface marker. And a pencil because I use sticky labels to label some of the samples. I have tape. Sometimes you need it to isolate areas. And then if you have small specimens, I have a magnifying glass. My father gave this to me when I was in high school. I also have suture material if I need to ligate some blood vessels. And then spare batteries for my headlamp, which is very handy, especially when you're in the field. Then to clean my instruments after I use them, I have a customized sponge and scrub that fits perfectly into one of these boxes. And then I have some I have syringes here and some needles here. IV catheters, because sometimes when the carcass is flesh, you need to draw out the blood from the body. Of course, handy dandy scissors. You have curved and straight scissors. They're sharp blunt surgical scissors. Then your rat tooth forceps and 2 sizes of scalpel blades. Pen light, you need it. An alcohol spray to disinfect the carcass before you open it. Two sizes of scalpel blades. It's very important. Your measuring tape. I always use the metric system for measuring anything. And then I have my whiteboard to take down notes, but also if you're in the field and don't have a clean surface for taking photos, then it's a very handy surface to put the organs on, and then put your measuring tape on for reference, and then you can put the organ on here and take a photo. Of course, we have the PPE, our mask, and our gloves. I always put on double or triple gloves so that if you need to remove one layer of gloves, then you have 1 or 2 more layers left. You won't have to reuse anything and you can work faster that way. I remember having to don 5 layers of gloves when we opened big carcasses like deer and crocodiles, so that we don't waste time. So this is done. And then sample bottles are very important. I have plain ones. I have ones with ethanol for DNA if you need to take DNA. And I have ones with formalin already in there, 10% buffered formalin. There's this one I got from my aunt in Canada. Well, she sent it to me from Canada. It's a plastic apron, so you don't get too messy when working in the field. I have gauzes if you need to clean surfaces off or wipe down bloody surfaces for, you know, when you need impression smears and things like that. And then you have to have like this is a swab, citrus swab. It's designed to swab. Actually, it's for virology swabs. If you notice that the swab is actually very, very thin. It's thinner than the cotton buds for babies. And it's used for avian swabs. We used this a lot when we were screening for ND and ILT in wild birds. Then, of course, our ever reliable, our ever reliable Eppendorf tubes for stuff like parasites and blood and other stuff that you need it for. So what else do I have? Other measuring equipment like your caliper. This caliper was given to me by a herpetologist I met in Australia. And then clamps, but I hardly use them. And this is what I use more often, kitchen shears, because they can actually cut through bone for reptiles and birds and many mammals. If the animal is too big, then I use my Dremel 3000 as a bone cutter. It's actually a craft instrument used for carving, but it works well as a bone cutter for, you know, carapaces and actual bones to cut through the skull, for instance. It's very handy. And then I also have vet wrap or the co-adhesive wrap for use for basic restraint, and sometimes if you need to euthanize, then we need to restrain the animal first, for instance. Then this is good also for covering the eyes, and it doesn't really hurt that much if you use it properly. And lastly, I have the Easy Scrub, which I actually use at the end after you do the procedure to clean yourself up. So I think that's it. That's what my box contains. And this box goes everywhere with me whenever there's field work. If I need to take samples, or even if I go, for instance, on one of the Vet 176 trips, I take this everywhere. Oh, I forgot to mention, I have tiny wire ties. This is very handy in sealing off GIT, you know, like the intestines and the colon, so that the feces don't spill over on your workplace. So that's my box. Thank you for listening. What will your box contain?